Weapons manufacturer Denel's been on a turnaround strategy for well over a year now, which has seen a number of developments at its divisions, including strategic equity partnerships, rescaling of businesses, among a number of other changes. Joining me to chat about the future direction of the parastatal is CEO Talib Sadik. Talib, thanks very much for coming in today. Talib, your results due out in the next couple of weeks. I'm sure you're still going through all of those numbers. Are we going to see some more positive developments from the turnaround that has been instituted at the group? Because I mean, last year you still posted a substantial loss.
That's correct. Last year we had posted a loss of about 550 million. We do expect to do much better in this financial year. As you did state, we will be releasing our results around the 27th of August. In terms of the broader Denel group, we had embarked on a restructuring strategy since 2006. So we are now in our 5th year of the restructuring. Certain parts of our business have now entered into a growth phase, whilst our aerostructures business, we are still in a turnaround process. But overall, one is seeing good improvement. The strategy that we adopted at the time in 2006, and even prior to that, it's around decentralization, where we broke Denel down into standalone entities, creating a more entrepreneurial spirit and commercial mindset. And this is something that has worked very well throughout the organization. Another big development around our turnaround was the sale of non-core assets. These businesses were costing us cash, and to date we've managed to exit all of those non-core businesses. And the critical aspect to the turnaround was strategic equity partnerships, mainly from Europe, having come in and acquired majority stakes in most instances, and we've seen the results of that, which has been very positive, not only for Denel, but for the broader South Africa.
Well, as you said, you're 5 years into this turnaround strategy. How much longer until it's really completed and you're satisfied with where the group is positioned?
In this day and age, one can never be satisfied, because you always have these curveballs coming in, like for instance the global economic crisis, and what that is causing to governments all over the world to implement austerity measures. One does see a tightening of the defense budget from the US, which is a major player in the defense industry. It's going to be a challenge. As I did state, we have adopted the growth strategy and we are seeing the results of it. Our challenge that we've set for ourselves as part of our growth, dealing with the defense and security business, is to double our revenue in the next 3 years. That's where we are.
Where in particular within the group has the financial crisis really hurt you? Where has it been a setback for which of your divisions?
At this stage, we've felt the crisis largely around the volatility of our rand, because a significant part of our business is export orientated. Going forward, we would, many of the countries have kept their defense budgets intact. Going forward, we expect them to reduce those budgets, and as a result of that, there would be less cash available for the global players. There would also be increased protectionism taking place, because this industry does operate outside of the World Trade Organization rules. So it's very protected, it's promoting local industry, it's driving indigenous solutions. And as you find unemployment increasing globally, you're going to have more of these governments wanting to invest in their local industries.
Of course, you mentioned the rand, and we know that the manufacturing sector is feeling the impact of the rand. How do you deal with that at Denel? Do you work on a rand at this level? Can you learn to live with the rand at current levels? Do you need it to depreciate by quite a lot more before you can become profitable?
I think what one is looking for is less volatility in the rand. For planning, one would need to look at your broader economic fundamentals and plan accordingly. For us, it's really around a stable rand, whether it's strong or weak, but it's less volatile, and in that way we can plan in advance.
So talk to us perhaps about the strategic equity partnerships which I think you've formed with some of your divisions with international companies, as you pointed out. Do these give you access to stable export markets?
Critical. That's been a major driver in this business. It's very geopolitical, as I pointed out earlier on. This industry operates outside of the WTO. It's also quite protectionist. The transactions that we concluded since 2002, especially where we have given majority stakes away, or the international player are happy to take a majority stake, we found that they've taken ownership of these businesses and they drive market access. They've also drive skills development. A critical part of driving market access is improving the industrialization, not only for Denel companies, but also in terms of the broader defense industry in South Africa, because we do outsource a lot of our businesses to other companies operating in this industry.
Of course, right at the beginning of your turnaround process, there were questions about the viability of Denel as a company going forward. Do you think these have been addressed with the changes that have been made to date and with the changes that we are going to see reflected in your results in a couple of weeks' time?
Absolutely. What we've done is, if you look at the Denel Group, we've got 4 industry clusters in the Denel Group. One is defense, which we believe has turned around. The other industrial group is security, and here we were quite active in terms of the security arrangements with the FIFA World Cup that took place in South Africa. So many of our products are aligned in security. The other part of our business is involved in simulation and training, and here that business almost operates at a break even. It does not operate as a profit center. And in the last business is our aerostructures business. So our defense, security and simulation, we wouldn't say we are happy, but we've turned around. We're now self-sustainable. We now need to grow the revenue base and grow the bottom line. And then on the aerostructures is where we've implemented the turnaround plan.
And of course you have announced a number of retrenchments in that business as you try to get it back to profitability. I think 670 to 300 positions. How will that strengthen that company? And shared services, I think that's something else that you talked about when you made that announcement, that you are going to be sharing services with Denel Aviation. Is there more scope for this within the greater group, shared services, to cut costs?
Yes, and just to correct it, it's not 600 or 670 to 300. It's between 270 to 300 positions. And a significant amount of them would be fixed-term contractors, casual employees that we would have, and also permanent staff will be affected as well. In terms of the aerostructures business, in the restructuring that we've undertaken to date, a critical part that we wanted to ensure we kept in place was our capabilities. What we have done is we've redesigned Denel Saab Aerostructures to focus on revenues that we have concretized in terms of firm orders. And that's how we have now sized the business up to its order book. We do have a high fixed cost that we need to address in that business, and part of our cost reduction is people, which is a major cost driver, and materials, to see how we can improve our utilization of materials, reduce our scrap rates. And on that particular area, in 2008, we embarked on a turnaround process to improve our operations, and we have seen significant improvement there.
What are the order books looking like at the moment?
Our order book is quite healthy. We would like it to be better. There's great opportunities out there globally. We're seeing very good support from our Department of Defense and military veterans, driven right from the minister downwards. And she's helping us in our marketing campaigns, which is critical if you want to access international markets. And
you mentioned the World Cup, particularly the effect on your security business. What sort of things was security doing for the World Cup? Maybe give us a bit of a picture there.
Yeah. Two broad areas perhaps. One is we had supplied stabilization observing platforms called gimbals in abbreviated terms to the South African Police Force. We sold 8 of them. They were fitted into rotary wing aircraft, your helicopters, and that guided movements, looked out for threats both during the day and night vision. That's the one area. And then the other area that we're quite involved in is the utilization of dogs, where we've trained our dogs to sense any weapon of threat, like be it a bomb or whatever element of attack that could be.